Um, in Aries, obviously, the last few degrees of Aries and so the last 3 degrees 20 of Aries is has in it a nakshatra called Krittika, which then continues on the last 10 degrees of that, goes into Taurus. So this is where I just wanted to do this one separately because obviously it involves two separate rashis or signs. So Aries going into Taurus. So the flavour of the first 3 degrees 20 will be, because Krittika is ruled by the Sun, so Sun and Mars, because obviously Mars rules Aries. And the last 10 degrees goes into Taurus, which is very much to do with Sun, because Sun rules Krittika, and Venus, which rules Taurus. So basically, each nakshatra, as you know, has 13 degrees 20, and you normally divide that in, it has 4 padas 1, 2, 3 and 4. So with Krittika, the first pada will mean that if Mars is in there, will be great for Mars, because Mars will then, in the D9, will end up in Sagittarius, which is a friendly Rashi to Mars. In the second pada, we'll end up in, so that the first pada will be obviously the part that is in Aries. The second pada is the first 3 degrees 20 of Taurus. That means that if Mars was there, we'll actually go into Capricorn. And obviously, you know, we want to also say this, if so Mars will be exalted. However, because obviously I'm going to be next to in Taurus ascendant, if Venus was here, Venus will also go into Capricorn in this second pada, which is the first 3 degrees 20 of Taurus. It's so it has a flavour of Venus, a flavour of Saturn now. So this means that it goes in a friendly sign, Capricorn. And the third pada, which is from 3 degrees 20 to 6 degrees 40 of Taurus, this will mean that Venus will go into Aquarius, again a friendly sign because it does well with Saturn and also co-ruler Rahu. And then the last pada, which will be 6 degrees 40 till 10 degrees of Taurus. Now this will have flavour of Venus, and also Pisces, because whatever planet, actually, doesn't necessarily have to be Venus, whatever planet is in these padas, this is where they will end up. So this will mean that Venus will be exalted because it will be in Pisces. Now, obviously, it also means that if you have a planet like Mercury at that in the fourth, in those degrees of the last fourth pada of Taurus, that means that actually that Mercury will be debilitated in the D9 because it will go into Pisces. So it's worth bearing that in mind. So now let's have a look at each degree of Krittika. The first pada, which is in Aries, that part is actually Pushkaramsha, which means that it gives you some challenges. However, it will actually get better with time, so it will grow. It's almost like an upachaya house, if you like. It just grows better with time. And also 28 degrees of Aries will be Mritu Bhaga of Venus at 28 degrees. So it's not is where Venus can have lots of challenges. Then we start the first 3 degrees 20 of Taurus. Now this is where obviously it's now in Taurus, so you'll have flavors of Venus as well. So I'm not going to discuss Mars anymore, really, but because obviously this is now going to go into Taurus, Rashi, so we're going to be discussing Taurus next. And so the second pada will be at 3 degrees of that, will be the maximum exaltation of moon. So that would be fantastic. I also always find in anybody's chart, if any planet is ever at the degree of exaltation or debilitation of another planet, it can kind of take that energy on. So you might want to watch that in people's charts as well, as like a little bit extra information. Okay, so now from 3 degrees 20 to 6 degrees 40, we have now what is called the third pada. Obviously, it's still in Taurus, and so this means that at 3 degrees 20 to 4 degrees 13, 1-3 of Taurus, this is a very difficult area. It's called Vishanadi. This degree is challenging for any planet that goes there. Saturn at 4 degrees also will have its degree of Mrityu Bhaga, which is really, really difficult, gives lots of challenges to Saturn. And clearly, even though it's a Rashi that's friendly to Saturn, at this degree, it would really struggle. So you want to always look at the degrees. Don't just think, oh, you know. And then we have from and actually at 6 degrees you have the Yogatara of Taurus there as well. This Yogatara will be a Krittika Yogatara, and again, Yogataras can be for the better, for the worse. It's not necessarily always good, but it's so if anybody has got those any planets there, it's just has got like, it's almost like the nectar of that nakshatra, where it's got the huge amount of it has the essence of that Rashi, if you like, all that nakshatra in there at 6 degrees. And obviously from 3 degrees onwards till 27 degrees is also Miltrikona of Moon anyway in Taurus. Now from 6 degrees 40 till 10 degrees, now we have the fourth pada. This is also the Pushkaramsha pada of Krittika. So, and also this is probably the best part of this this nakshatra, the last few degrees of Krittika. So it's 8 degrees 40 to 9 degrees 33 would be its Amrita Nadi. So this is like the most beneficial part of Krittika is at this degree. But Sun doesn't do very well at 9 degrees. That would be Ascendant or the Sun. If they fall at this degree, which is Mrityu Bhaga, that's quite a difficult situation for the Ascendant and for the Sun. So, but any other planet will do really, really well in that. So I just thought I'd give you a few ideas about what to expect with Krittika. Krittika obviously is ruled by the Sun. And the first part is obviously in Aries, so that will be really strong for Mars to be there, because it's ruled by Mars, and it's a nakshatra of its friend's Sun, very, very strong. And this nakshatra is ruled by all of them have a devata, and it's actually Agni. So it's all about fire, light. This nakshatra is it's an interesting one because it is very if the native rules it well, looks after it and use it really, really in an intelligent way, which is all about the Sun, they can actually really be supportive of other people, really help society, be the bigger person. You know, Sun being the light that comes up consistently every day and looks after the crops and everything. So it can be amazing. However, when this has got a lot of ego attached to it, and the person is using it to gain from, it can be very difficult indeed. These people are normally vigilant and they're full of wisdom because of the Sun. Sun rules intelligence. They're creative, inspiring, and they have ability to start things, because fire is always the initiation. purification starting. It's a bright light where there is darkness. So honestly, when these people, particularly if politicians use that, people of influence, they can really help humanity. But obviously you can understand what the shadow side can be. They literally are progressive. They can really be very powerful beings. Also, this is where Sun and Venus are now the last three padas of Krittika. It can give a very beautiful face because it's the Sun and also Venus coming together. A lot of you find a lot of models might have this, and it can give a laziness to the person as well, where they feel as though they like, you know, look after me, you know, it has got that ego thing going on as well, where they want to be looked after and everybody else should do things for them. So you can have that, but they are absolutely beautiful. It gives beautiful face. Taurus is the house of face, rules face and neck. And so they have to be, ego is what lets people down. Anytime to do with the Sun, anything that goes wrong is normally to do with ego and about me, myself and I. So they've got to be very careful about gossip and criticism, because that is exactly what Krittika is, cutting. It's a sharp instrument, you know. And that can cause them suffering in life. They can have also issues controlling their anger. These are all on their, you know, shadow side. Everything has got a shadow side in astrology. They can be materialistic because obviously Taurus is sign of, you know, material gain, comforts. They can also be controlling and manipulative as well. They could have neck issues because obviously second house also rules, second house, you know, Taurus, the neck. So there is an inability, lack of flexibility to see other people's viewpoint because they're very much focused on their own because of the Sun. So that can lead to being a little bit unjust, too stuck in being right, really, and righteous. That could create judgmental and abusive behavior as well. It's and typically, you know, you always got to look at all the symbols of nakshatras. So fire, if it's not controlled, just like anger, it's got to have boundaries. So like with anything to do with fire, if it has got boundaries in place, then it is actually controlled and it's a light. It's a beacon of light and guidance and people that you could look up to. So, and they do very, very well not to have an agenda and just be humble. The practice of actually having humility, being like Venus, and maybe even Saturn will be quite good to just see and look after other people. This can go very wrong, obviously, like anything, if people abuse it for themselves. So this is also a very... I would just say on a day when Moon is in Krittika, try not to repair anything. Don't wear anything new, clothes or anything like that. Careful around fire, and also don't put a new roof onto your property because it could catch fire later on. So those are the things to do with Krittika. I mean, I am going to do different videos for these, but I just thought it's kind of like you want to see the different flavors within Aries, really. But I had to do this one separately just because it then goes on to Taurus. I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.